So, hi everyone, hello and welcome again. I'm Oliver. Nice to see you again to another Saturday live stream. I will say Microbehunter here. Yes, last week I was not here, and I'm happy to see you again today. Today's live stream is going to be a little bit shorter. I'm going to change the format around a little bit. I would like to make it a little bit also more compact. So therefore, I'm not going to greet you individually, but I'm going to directly dive into the topics that we have today. There has also been a little bit of a confusion concerning the starting time of this live stream, and the reason is because I'm in Europe right now, and end of March we have daylight savings time. But in the United States, I think this already happened a few days ago. So for this reason, in some countries of the world, the starting time today was a little bit different. So there's a little bit of a mismatch here. Okay, so in any case, it doesn't matter. I'm happy that you could join me in today, and I just would like to inform you a little bit quickly on what I plan to do today. As already announced, look, I've got myself this fairly cheap USB microscope. I'll be showing this to you today. It's going to be the main part, so I'm going to look through the microscope. I connected it to the computer, right? And I'm going to put a few things, specimens under this USB microscope, and we're going to see how it looks like in comparison to my real microscope. A little bit of few editorial issues as well, and then later on I would like to start a hydrogen peroxide extraction also for next week. I would like to isolate some diatoms using this extraction technique, so it's not going to be complete. It takes a few days for the reaction to finish, and then after about 50 minutes or so I would like to do a Q&A session, and then I would like to conclude the live stream. So, and for this reason, I'm going to keep myself a little bit short at the beginning. But if you have any questions on topic or off topic, please do post them in the chat on the side. Please also indicate at Microbehunter or at Oliver, so that it's easier for me to find your comments. But first, maybe 5 minutes or so, a little bit of an editorial. Yes, as I mentioned, I'm going to try to structure the live stream a little bit better because I would like to also take clips from the live stream and also publish shorter clips of the live stream in this channel, and for this reason I need to be streamline this a little bit. And also the other videos that I'm going to, regular videos, I would like to go up a little bit with the frequency. Maybe I'm going to upload about 2 regular videos every week, also in a slightly new format. I do have a newsletter, and I have already 1,300 subscribers, but I have to admit I did not send a lot of newsletters recently. There have also been a few technical issues that are resolved right now, but if you're interested in also receiving some behind-the-scenes info, then I'll be maybe sending a newsletter once a week. If you want to subscribe to it, then on the microbehunter.com website, on my website, you can find the possibility to subscribe. I won't be spamming you, don't worry. Yes, unfortunately, I've also encountered a couple of technical issues with the forum and with the website. Slowly, they're also getting resolved. The reason is because I'm trying to keep the website updated, because sometimes it's a little bit under attack by some bots, and therefore this can cause temporary server overload. So if you're not able to access the website, then please refresh the page. It should be working again. Last but not least, and then I'm finished already with the editorial. Okay, yes, I'm actually writing a book. No, well, I have to be honest, I already started writing one over 10 years ago. Really, and the manuscript is ready. It's going to be a beginner's book. I've been bouncing back and forth a little bit. I wanted to make a very comprehensive book as well, containing also the history of microscopy and everything. This got a little bit out of proportion. It got also a little bit technical, so I reconsidered, and I'm going to basically boil it down to the bare minimum. It's going to be a large section on microscope buying advice, specimen preparation, and so on, more directly towards the beginner. And I already have a second book in planning. This is going to be a book for teachers and for parents, also for homeschooling, to basically give educators a little bit more support with using microscopes. So that's basically the thing that I would like to do. I'm going to keep you informed. I will tell you the book has already progressed quite a bit. But it contains contains more information right now, and I'm currently stripping it down to basically to a proper format, because I did get a little bit carried away as well, including a lot of technical details and optics and so on, because I wanted to have this comprehensive microscopy book. But then I said, well, actually, it might not be too interesting for beginners especially, so I decided to split it up a little bit, and maybe there's going to be a follow-up book later on. I'll keep you informed. Actually, I do want to get it finished around summer, right? It should be possible. Okay, so this is volume 1 of 10. Yes, yeah. So this is basically was the organizational issue, and what I would like to do now is I would like to, please again, if you just joined in, today's live stream is going to be a little bit shorter. I want to streamline everything a little bit, we're going to see how this works. If it ends up being a little bit too rushed, everything, I might expand it again next week. We're going to see. Okay, so main topic today is a USB microscope that I bought myself over Amazon a few days ago. So it is not a sponsored video. It's really important. I paid 29 euros for it. So in US dollars, must be something I think over 30 US dollars. Here it is. And nice idea, but I have mixed feelings. Okay, and I would like to show this to you. I think in summary, I don't know, what should I say? A slightly missed opportunity. Okay. So where the book will be published on Amazon. I'll basically, not Kickstarter. It will be Amazon. It will be self-published on Amazon, and you can buy it over Amazon. But let's go back to this one over here. This is a USB microscope, and the reason, so it's connected right now, and basically, if you just want to show this to you, I can actually, that's basically what you're able to see. Okay, yeah. So you're able to, I'm gonna show you a couple of slides then, in a minute or so. But you see, it basically works, and you're able to see what I'm able to see as well. Just very quickly, but I'm going to run you through the features and a little bit some of the, I would say design issues that I'm not totally happy about here. First of all, a little bit of a reason why I actually bought it, because I needed. I want to have a field microscope where I can actually do some recording without having to take samples back to home, right? So this microscope has an SD card over here, and it allows for direct observation and also recording into the SD card, and it basically also has over here a USB-C connector, and I can of course take pictures, and they can also be displayed here. Not right now, because I connected the USB so that you can see it then on the in YouTube as well. There is also a small menu where you can adjust the resolution and everything, and and this is basically over here. There's some LED, and there is you can flip this away here. And you can also take it away. That's actually something that's also quite nice, so that you have a flat surface for observing objects. So coins, for stamps, whatever you want to observe. And I just want to show you an interesting feature that it has that the other microscopes like these do not have, and that is you're able to insert a slide over here. Now the light is coming from the top, but because there is this white reflective spot over here, the light reflects and basically shines the specimen also from the bottom. Okay, so that is kind of the idea. The reason, and that's my main criticism of this here, well, for 29 euros, I don't expect a lot, right? I mean, it's reasonably nicely made, it's reasonably solid, but there's one thing that really disturbs me, and that is, and I'm going to show you later maybe when I have the USB disconnected, and that is that it gives you a 16:9, the format, but this one over here is 4:3. So basically it's cramped together, it's distorted, and for me that's a no-go. So basically the screen is supposed to be wider, but it's kind of compressed together. right? So this is something that I think is just, I don't know, sloppy, or yeah, I don't know. You see, if you already have a screen and need to observe the specimens, then I think it should at least reflect that what it's recording, and not distort it, you know. So yeah, so in other words, the format so if you record it, however, on the SD card, everything's going to be fine, right? And also if I basically feed it into the computer, it's also going to be fine. But just over here, this one is not in the proper aspect ratio, right? And the picture that's wider is actually squeezed together, and yeah, this is just yeah, a little bit very unfortunate. One feature that I do consider interesting is that it actually has a zoom, basically 2 magnifications, and this knob over here, when turning, I'm going to show you later, actually allows you both to focus and also to adjust the magnification. It's kind of interesting, the system. And yeah, then there is, I'm just going to show you the box as well. Yeah, because what I consider kind of remarkable is that it was really came in a very fancy package, but it's marketed towards children. It was kind of, why do you want to market this to children? And I think the reason is because the manufacturers themselves actually knew that this is not entirely flawless. Yeah, so there's a manual over here. Yeah, so yeah, it's quite well documented. Yeah, it's quite well documented, actually surprisingly well documented. Yeah, it contains yeah, and even some basic specimen prep. It came with a couple of accessories as well. Yeah, and one of the reasons why I want to actually also bought this is because when I go on holidays and so on, sometimes I just want to observe a little bit nature, also to record some videos for the channel and so on. And this it also came along with. I just show you the main package. This is basically how it looked like. This was in here, right? Yeah. This is some instruction to actually that you can actually remove the dust cover, and in here there is a tiny little tripod. Yeah, which I don't understand why you would need that, because yeah, to mount it over here, then you have it standing up horizontally. Why would you do that? You want to have it vertically, right? So this is something that yeah, USB cable, of course, yeah, and also some yeah, some detaches, and you know what? Can you believe it? They even included 2 plastic slides, which I didn't look at yet. Yeah, cotton and something else. There's some. Yeah, fairly, just to have some slides in here. But I want to look at a couple of other slides with you for comparison, because, what shall I say? One thing surprises me positively, that how technology progresses over the years. So a couple of years ago, this would probably not have been imaginable. But at the same time, the image quality, of course, is not able to keep up with under what I call a real microscope. Okay. So what I want to do now is we're just gonna. I've got a whole slide box over here. I'll show that to you. A whole slide box, and I'm just more or less randomly gonna pull out a few things here that we're gonna look at, and I forgot my glasses somewhere, so I cannot even read this properly. But this is going to be very dark. It's the mouth parts of a honeybee. If the specimen is so dark as it is, it's probably not going to be of a very good quality. But I'm just going to show it to you. Okay. So what you are able. Let me show this to you first. Look what I'm doing right now. I'm just kind of moving the dust cover to the side a little bit, right? And what you see over here is that there is this white disc, right? And at this magnification, look, yeah, can you see the edges, right? The disc is not even large enough, so it's not even, yeah, giving you complete, yeah, white background, yeah, which is a pity, yeah. How often do I look for my glasses while they're on top of the head? Luckily not so often. So, but this is basically now the proboscis, which are the tongue of a bee. Yeah. So what I've done, just so that you see that, maybe I show it to you on the side here. You can actually now it kind of slides outwards. Yeah. You can basically slide it here. If you look at the top, right in here. Yeah. And this is so you can not move it forward, backward, but only to the side. Yeah. And then what I do now is I'm turning the knob, and then this allows me to focus it, right? And this is how it looks like. And then if I continue to turn it, look what happens if I continue to turn it. I continue to turn it. It becomes blurrier, 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 until it goes into focus again at a higher magnification. Now it's too dark. So what I have to do is on the side here, I can adjust the light intensity. I have to turn it up a little bit more. Okay. And yeah, and that is now basically at the higher magnification. Okay, so that is this is the interesting thing. So the light is coming from the top. The light is coming, and now it's switched off. See, that's another one of these things. Interesting. Why did that happen? The light basically came from the top and is reflected. And see, that's another interesting thing. All of a sudden, it switched off, and you know what? I have a suspicion why. Let me turn it on again. Let's see if it even turns on. I have a suspicion. Here we go. Okay. Let me show this to you over here. The suspicion is that if you turn it up maybe too much, then maybe the USB power is too much. USB power is used, and then maybe, yeah, this is basically causes the problem. So let's have a look if I'm able. Okay, let's hear it. That's how it, yeah. Let's start it on here again. That's also, the menu is also not quite the way that I hoped it to be. See? No. If we see that there's a problem, then this is actually also part of the demonstration, right? See? Now I cannot turn it on again for whatever reason. I'm going to try to unplug it. Okay. Sometimes this actually does work. I just have, because it's battery operated, so I'm gonna plug it in again. Here we go. I have video, memory, or PC camera. I want to have the PC camera. Maybe you cannot read that. I have to select it, and then back to the PC camera, and then I hope my face now will also reappear again. And then here we are again. Hopefully we were before. And no, the frame is still frozen. So what I have to do, that's actually shows a little bit the problems that we have with this. Yeah, and here we are again. Where is it? Here we go. Yeah. So you see that this is a little bit there are some reliability issues, but let's go back to a slightly lower magnification, right? So this is something that I just want to say is that those devices are a nice idea, but the connection is not quite as stable. And if I turn up the light all the way again, then I'm kind of worried that it will disconnect again because it simply takes in too much electricity from the USB. So just in comparison now, I'm going to show you how this now looks like under my real, under quotation marks, microscope. Okay. Yeah, and of course, yeah, dynamic range and clarity and everything cannot be compared. Yeah. I mean, obviously, what do you expect from a 29 euro device? Yeah. Yeah, and this is also a question. There's simply some physical limits to this. You cannot basically with optics that are so far away from the slide, you simply cannot get the resolution. So in order to get clarity, you have to be very close to the specimen. Yeah, but I would like to show you a couple of other things here. But still, I mean, it's a nice, let's put it this way, it's a nice thing to have in order to play around with, right? But then again, I've been thinking, to what extent are these devices suitable or not suitable, yeah, for hobby and amateur use? Yeah? So again, over here, this is seems to be what do I say, a pine stem cross section. Okay, yeah. So this is basically, again, I'm turning this. This is the, yeah. Let's I keep on turning it again. Let's increase the magnification. Okay. And again, over here, it's fairly dark. If I turn up the light a little bit more, I'm kind of worried that it's gonna start disconnecting again. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. And I've been because I'm a teacher, obviously, I've been thinking to what extent are these type of devices suitable for classroom use, for quick observation, and maybe especially for younger students. Yeah, so that basically you have a lesson where you give them a couple of slides to look at and maybe their own hair or whatever. And for that, I think it is okay, especially because you're also then able to see it over here on the screen. But I don't know. Yeah. The questions that I have is to what extent do these devices actually allow students or children also to learn proper microscopy technique? But maybe I'm overthinking it a little too much. Maybe who cares? Maybe yeah, at least you have something to look at. Yeah. So that is the thing. Yeah, so that's a comment. I'm reading a comment. Don't buy anything that will frustrate the child. That's the question. To what extent will these devices actually give access to science and to nature exploring, or to what extent is it frustration? I don't know. Yeah. On one hand, it does not teach real proper microscopy technique. On the other hand, it is still a low barrier of entry somehow, but especially if it's complicated with a menu and all these things and unreliable, then I don't know. Yeah. So let's have a look again at the other one here. Let's this is the one that we just had a look at. Yeah. Let's I go down with the magnification. I'm staying now with bright field in case you wonder. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the details with the real, under quotation marks, microscopes are really much more, I don't know, yeah. It's, of course, no comparison, yeah. But still, I mean, the 29 euros, it's yeah. Is it worth it? I have not made up my mind yet. Really, yeah, I've not made up my mind yet, but... yeah, because I do see some possible uses of this thing, but yeah, again, if especially if image quality is important, because especially kids and so on, yeah, when they see something, it's got to be impressive. But if it's kind of blurry, you know, and you don't see the crystal clear structures, then maybe it's not quite as captivating. I don't know. Okay, so let's go back to this one over here. This one what does it say? It's a pine cone. Okay, let's have a look at this here. So, and here a pine cone again. Yeah, yeah. So you get the idea. Yeah. The question that I have now is, what about looking at some live things? Because I do have a couple of live specimens as well that I want to show you. All the water sample here, yeah, and that's something that we also would like to explore a little bit. But before I do that, I want to show you, of course, the possibility of observing. I don't have a good specimen now here with me. Just a second. I'll just use this here. I'm just going to use now this, how do you say, the instruction manual over here. Because what you can do, and I'm going to show this here to you over here, is this, we can actually rotate this here, right? Look here, you see it better here. This is basically the slit where you can insert the slide, right? If you basically rotate this 90 degrees, you can actually take it off. Huh? And then you have a flat, it's flat, and you can put it down. And then you're, of course, able to see, yeah, the objects like this. Okay, I mean, so that is actually basically like a stereo microscope without the stereo part, yeah, where you can simply look at the things directly. So this is indeed, I don't know. Look, I've got the from a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, these are basically the pollen, the anthers. I have to, just a second. Yeah. Remember the middle of February when I put the flower under the microscope? Yeah, the pollen, the anthers. Yeah. I mean, so in that sense, yeah, it is possible to explore nature. But, yeah. Of course, not a, of course, a real stereo microscope will give you a much more impressive image, but I mean, it does work. So what is I'm just reading a little bit here. What is the working distance? Look, I'm going to show you. I mean, it's 3 centimeters, 4 centimeters, 5 centimeters. I'm going to turn this around now. The working distance is the distance between the, yeah, I'm going to turn this off now. Yeah, because I don't know if you're able to see this, but there is I cannot even see it. Deep in there is actually the lens, and by rotating this here you're able to kind of move it in and out, and this both focuses and also changes the magnification. Yeah? So it's pretty far away, but of course the object that you can put in here directly cannot be too large, obviously. Yeah? It's got to fit in here. I don't know if I should have thought of that earlier. You know, I use here some, I don't know, here's a piece of cloth, dirty piece of cloth. Yeah, so we can try this. And then I want to show, look at a couple of water samples and live specimens as well. Okay, have to refocus. Yeah. Now there are, of course, and you probably already know that I've already showed you some of these very similar models that can be directly connected to a mobile phone, for example. Of course, this also works, but I thought that a self-contained system where you can directly record and also observe. Later, I'm going to show you how the screen looks like. Is more convenient. Yeah. So that's how do I compare it with my second USB cheap microscope. I would say the image quality is pretty similar. However, because here everything is more integrated, it's more complex with the menu and all of the buttons, and then you have to choose, do you want to read this SD card or do you want to connect to the computer, and so on. And then the buttons are not properly labeled, you don't know which buttons to press, so the usability is not quite as straightforward as I was hoping it to be. Not difficult, but you have to just remember which buttons is what. So no touch screen, but again, you wouldn't expect this anyway. So I mean, what shall I say? Interesting thing. Maybe in a couple of years, I don't know, it's going to be. But this is actually the thing that disturbs me most, that the aspect ratio is not correct. So let's do the following. Let's look at a couple of diatoms, okay? Because I do have a list here. I did make a list of a few things that I wanted to show you. And if you watched my video that I published a few days ago, because the reason why I was not around last week is because I was gone with one of my kids, and I wanted to therefore take along a sample, a water sample. Here, this one over here. We just scratched off the surface of a rock. So basically just watch my previous video. And what I'm going to do now is I want to just have a look at this here because this one will be also the specimen that at the end of this live stream I would like to add some hydrogen peroxide to basically extract the diatoms. Yeah. So, yeah. So I'm just reading here, labeling the buttons is a whole other level of laziness. Laziness is the correct term to use. Because I feel a little bit that whoever designed this microscope, they just didn't bother, you know? I mean, come on, man, just make sure that the sensor size and the screen size, that they kind of match. Yeah? So it's a little bit of something I don't fully understand. Huh? Yeah. Because I think it's to a certain extent a little bit of a wasted opportunity, which is a pity. And that's the reason why they're marketing it to kids, because they think, well, it's only for kids anyway, so they're not gonna mind. It's my hypothesis. Yeah. So let's put those slides away. And I'm going to now put the whole slide here directly under the microscope without cover glass. Okay, without cover glass, because I just want to get a general overview of what's present. Okay, yeah. So you can actually see a couple of little critters floating around here. Yeah, lots of diatom shells as well. So yeah, there is something there. Cover glass will go now on top. And then we're going to do a proper comparison. And we're going to do a proper comparison. So, I forgot to change here. Here we go. So this is now basically flat enough to be directly observed here. Okay, and let's go up a little bit with the magnification. You see, you can of course see a whole bunch of microbes also swimming around here. Probably also bacteria. Over the last couple of days, quite a lot happened. Yeah, so the number of microorganisms greatly increased. But yeah, let's remember a little bit of how this looks like. And let's see if the other microscope is able to resolve that. Yeah. So we're going to see. Oh, look at this. This is actually quite nice. By the way, this is still bright field. So let's try 60 times. Wow! Look, bacteria, spiral-shaped bacteria, spirillas. Yeah, so you see there's quite a bit going on here. Yeah. So let's have a look how this actually, if we're able to see that level of detail with the other microscope. Let's go up here a little bit. Yeah. Let's see if we're able to see that level of detail. You probably have already guessed, maybe not. So here we go. Let's put this away. Here we are again. And we insert it down here. This is going. Here we go. I have to focus a little bit. Okay. And this is how it looks. Yeah, here. Let's see if by turning it a little bit more, or other direction I think, yeah, to the higher magnification, if we're able to see a little bit more there. Of course it becomes darker, not surprisingly. To turn up the light a little bit. Here we go. Okay, let's just leave it like that. And it's all pretty slow. If you actually notice that it's there is quite a bit of a delay. Yeah. Phone as a backlight. Yes, I also considered that. But I don't have it with me now. But that could be a possibility. Maybe as some kind of a diffusing. Yeah, I'd have to. You know what? I don't know. You know what I'll do? Maybe I'll try a little experimenting a little bit more. Than maybe next week I can come back with some modifications to this. But I think at least at this level that what we have over here, I think it becomes very clear that we're not able to see very much. Yeah. White paper. Let's have a look. I don't know if white paper would actually do the trick. Yeah, I mean, I would have to do the following right now. Yeah, I'd have to move out. I'm going to do the following. I'm going to take this away here. Okay, and I'm going to put it directly over it. And oh, what do we have? It disconnected again. Ah, see, that is that's the problem. Yeah, I've lost the connection. So let's see if I'm able to get it back. Nope. See, the reliability issue is an issue. So what I'm going to do is I'm therefore going to disconnect it. Yeah, and you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to use this opportunity now to do the following. Now it's disconnected, but now I have the display screen here. Okay, so we're just going to try it like this then. And I can now insert, I'm just going to use one of those permanent slides again to insert that. Okay, now you're able to see it here on the screen a little bit. Yeah. But something that you're probably not able to notice quite well is that actually the image is cramped together a little bit. Yeah. Yeah. So this is a little bit the problem that I have, especially yeah, you can see now it's at picture mode. I'm able to take pictures directly. Yeah. Okay, so this is a little bit oh yeah, okay. Let's see if I'm able to do the following. Go back here. Okay. Where's this? Let's put it here. Getting everything adjusted again. Yeah, so yeah, it's a little bit here we go. See by focusing, yeah, and everything is cramped together. So you see, I'm not giving up hope entirely that maybe they're going to release a product that's basically got all of these aspects fixed. Yeah, so so I don't know. It's a little bit to a certain extent a bit of a disappointment because it does not have this yeah. Because if I get the, I mean, you see, it does work, right? But if I get the feeling that the people who designed it didn't, I don't know, were lazy, and I think that is indeed the correct term, then this bothers me a little bit. Yeah? So there are these tiny issues are actually have to be fixed in my view. What I want to do now is the following. I'm just also checking a little bit the time. Is I want to now see if indeed it is possible to. I want to get the thing to work again, the USB connection, and I want to see if I'm able to see at least blood cells. Okay, here we go again. Okay, I have to go down here, and maybe I'm able to reconnect. Maybe I'm able to reconnect. Okay. Let me see. Yeah, here we are again. Okay. Now it seems to work again. Okay. Yeah. Ah, yeah. Okay. So let's do the following. I want to see. I want to check if blood is a possibility as well. So for this reason, I'm going to. For this reason, I'm going to use a new little device. I need to just a second. The slide is stuck here. So for this reason, I'm going to use a new little device that I got. And here it is. Let's put this up again. Okay. Here it is. This is a, for some of you remember maybe that I used to prick myself like this, and this was a little bit psychologically not so easy. And for this reason, I've now got this here, which helps me draw some blood. And blood cells are 8 micrometers in diameter. And therefore, I would like to see if this microscope is able to resolve those or not. I really don't know. Okay. So I'm going to add a little bit of alcohol here simply to disinfect my finger. Okay. And I'm going to take one of those. It came along with those lancets here. Yeah. So there is a very sharp needle in here. And I have to do the following. I have to insert this in here. Okay. Okay. So I have to break off the safety tip. This is the needle, right? Very sharp. I have to put this on here. This is actually there, yeah, so that is for easier. Otherwise, psychologically, it's too difficult. And then if I basically have to load it up, and then if I press this button here, where is it? See, it doesn't work. Why is it not working? That's interesting. Ah, now it is. Okay, and then essentially it comes out here, and here I can adjust how much. Okay, and it's actually barely coming out. Yeah, so I pull it up, and then I can basically do this because it's barely coming out. I have to push it out a little bit more. Here we go, slightly, and yeah, here it is. Yeah, so I have to charge it, pull it back, and then by pushing this here, it comes out. Yeah, and that's what I'm gonna do now. I'm going to disinfect myself here again. You put it on here, and then what you do is you push this button here, and then it goes ding, and then it shot in. And now I should be able to get a little bit of blood out. Here we go. Okay. So that's it. Disinfect myself again. So much psychologically, so much easier than trying to do this when you actually see it. I'm going to now use a very large cover glass because I want the blood to be spread very thinly. Okay. Just a single cell layer of blood. And we're going to look at it first using the normal microscope, so to say. Yeah, of course, I have to make sure I have to dispose of it then. Okay. I'm going to put it over there. And then we're going to put it under this USB microscope, and we're going to compare it a little bit. Okay, so this is kind of the idea. So here we go. Okay. A little bit too bright. Here it is, the blood, right? You see the individual blood cells very nicely. Still spreading. Okay. 40 times. Yeah, they're already starting to shrink a little bit because it's starting to dry up. Yeah. And 60 times. It's all in bright field. Okay. So this is kind of the thing that we're able to see, and now I would like to know, and this is kind of now, how do you call this? This is saying the proof of the pudding is in its eating, as the proverb goes. So that basically we're going to see actually if we're able to see those cells also using this USB microscope, and if not, then we can say, well, actually, the resolution is not very high, but let's try that. Okay, so here we go. Back to the USB microscope, and let's insert it. I really don't know. Yeah. So. And here we are. I think. Yeah, I'm right in the middle here, and let's see if we're able to see something. I'm not able to see something. So let's zoom in more. Let's zoom in more. I don't know if you're able to see something. I'm not able to see anything. Maybe here's something. Maybe. Ta-ta! Happy. But the problem is I cannot, if I go up more with the light, then I'm kind of worried that it's going to disconnect again. Focusing is difficult. So that's the best I can get. Okay? So that's my blood under the microscope using the USB microscope. Yeah? Yeah. So that's not a lot of how do you say? Not a lot of detail visible. I'm occasionally reading the question. Yeah. It's not directly comparable between a microscope with light from below and the other one light from above. Yes, that's correct, because the light that basically comes from above and is reflected by a little reflective disc Yeah, yeah. So yes, yeah. What about the needle? Maybe you can clarify me. It's the second time that I'm actually using this device, just for your information. Yeah. So let's have a look. Let's have a look at this under the microscope here. And where is it? Yeah, and that's basically with a real microscope. Yeah. So yeah, I think it's very clear that essentially this microscope over here has its limits, obviously. Yeah. So what I'm going to do now is the following. I'm going to move on a little bit, and I would like to, how do you say, yeah, prepare something also for next week, and that is this water sample over here. I would like to digest this water sample so that I'm able to extract the diatoms. Yeah. Pulling it out and having the whole pin go into your finger is crazy to us who use those pens regularly. Pulling it out. Ah, okay. Did it go in too far a little bit? Okay. I'm not using this regularly. It was actually the second time that I tried it today. Yeah, in any case, I'm going to do the following. I would like to now, yeah. Okay, way too far. So I want to do the following. There are, as we've seen before, a lot of diatoms in here, and the diatom basically are made of silica. So the cell wall is made of silica, which is inorganic, and many of those diatoms are sticking together on the surfaces, yeah, on algae and so on. And in order to purify them and to get clean diatom shells, I have to digest everything away that is organic here. Okay, so let me focus it, yeah? And in order to do that, I'm going to add now a fairly concentrated hydrogen peroxide, and this is a little bit dangerous, okay? Because if you get hydrogen peroxide on your skin, or heaven forbid into your eyes, this is not something good. And I've seen that I still have over here a little bit of 30% hydrogen peroxide in the bottle. I've got some 3% over here as well. And what's going to happen then is if you put the hydrogen peroxide in here, and if you wait maybe a day or so, even possibly even warm it up over a water bath, then all of the organic material is going to start to be oxidized away, and the diatom shells, they will start to collect on the bottom. Okay. So that is the diatoms and desmids. Diatoms, they have a shell made of silica. Okay, so they basically are also single-celled. Yeah. And both of them look very beautiful, but desmids can also have a lot of other shapes as well. Yeah. So yeah, basically the different types of single-celled algae. So I'm going to do the first thing is this is all pond water. So I have to first remove all of this excess water. So I'm going to just carefully dump as much as I can. Okay, yeah, and then I'm going to, and now this is where I have to be a little bit careful. I now need to add the hydrogen peroxide, and I'm going to use the concentrated one, and I hope it's still okay. And then basically it will start digesting everything away, and I will continue this then next week because there is some time needed. So, yeah, I should probably have a little bit more. But what you're already able to see, let's put the cap on here. Maybe you're already able to see something over here. I don't know if you're able to see that, but there are bubbles forming, and these are oxygen bubbles. I don't know if it's very clear or not. The focus is a little bit out of the focus range. But what's going to happen is it's going to start forming oxygen bubbles, okay, and it's going to start breaking down everything that is organic. Yeah, so that is the thing, if the process can be sped up much more if you basically put it into a warm water bath. And if you actually see those white things here, these are tiny oxygen bubbles that are starting to appear. Yeah, and they're rising up, and this now will take I don't know, maybe a couple of hours to be fully broken down. And what I will do then is I will be adding a little bit more hydrogen peroxide, and hopefully by next week we should have a whole bunch of diatom cells, basically shells, then collecting here on the bottom, and then by putting them under the microscope, they look quite nice. Okay, but this is basically a method of concentrating the diatoms. Yeah? The problem only is that it can be sometimes a bit difficult to get 30% hydrogen peroxide. You can also try to use this here is a hand disinfectant, and they contain very often 3% hydrogen peroxide, which is readily available. But the more concentrated, the faster it will actually work. Yeah. So this means now basically a little bit of patience, and yeah, we're gonna see whether I have to add a little bit more or not. Yeah? So what I'm gonna do now is I'm going to put this away, right? And for the next couple of minutes, I'm going to do the following. I'm going to just put the microscope back in here so that we can look at the beautiful blood cells, right? Just for the fun of it. And I'm going to now go through actually your comments that you've written, and I would like to maybe respond to some of them. And we're gonna then basically call it a day. But let me go to the very beginning. Okay. Yeah, I see that some of you, I'm going to jump right ahead, right? Okay. Yeah, off topic. How often do you look for your glasses while they're on top of the head? Luckily, not so often. I do wear contact lenses, but age-related, of course, I have to sometimes wear reading glasses as well. Okay, so let's move on. I'm going to jump downwards. How do you compare it with your second USB cheap microscope? The second one that I have is, I don't know, I put it somewhere over there. I would say the image quality is similar. This one over here is actually the reason why I bought this is because you can actually, it's convenience really, right? So you can walk around, and the reason is as well. I'll tell you the following reason. When I go on holidays and when we're going on a beach, I like to put beach sand under the microscope because sometimes you do see interesting things in there as well, tiny microscopic shells and so on. But taking along sand samples is not always allowed. Yeah, sometimes it's pretty heavily fined if you do that. And for this reason, I thought I'm going to take this along to basically take pictures of sand and other structures as a kind of as a microscopy souvenir of the holidays. So this was kind of the intention. And last year when I took along my other USB microscope, it was a little bit cumbersome because I had to have it connected with a mobile phone and so on. So it's kind of convenience for convenience reasons. Yeah. How does it look if we use your phone as a backlight? I will try that. I actually have considered it myself, but maybe you're able to see the pixels, and for this reason, maybe you need to add some kind of a diffuser plate or something to make sure that the light is fairly even. Yeah. So I'm scrolling ahead again. I think it looks like they took a bunch of off-the-shelf parts and mashed them together for minimum cost and maximum profit margin, and then basically market it to children and say, well, that's why it's for children. It doesn't have to be perfect. Yeah. So, I mean, I have to tell you, I'm a little bit surprised how much they put into the packaging, because the packaging does look kind of nice. Yeah. And of course, for 29 euros, you don't look. This is the thing that kind of disturbs me a little bit. I need to tell you that. It says here 200 times and 1,000 times magnification. Yeah, here. Don't even get me started on this topic. Okay, it's no comment. Yeah. So here. Yeah. Load. Okay. Here it is. The comments are about this the spring loading here, right? Load the spring, pull back, and then basically you have to push it, right? Yeah. Didn't read all of these comments here. Too much, dial it back. Okay. Yeah. So maybe I did push it in a little bit too much. Okay. Oliver's been trying to make an account on your forum on your website. I won't process the. I messaged you on. On Patreon. Okay. Thank you for reminding me. Okay. Yeah. The thing is the following. There has been on the forum. There have been massive spam accounts, right? And then basically there have been advertisements have been posted, and people already complained about that, rightly so, and even unsubscribed from the forum because there was so much spam there. And that's when I decided, okay, I unfortunately I have to then manually. So if you sign up. Basically, you have to message me somehow first. You have to message me, and then I can manually unlock you so that you can be part of the forum. And this is a very cumbersome thing because there's a time delay, but it's proven to be kind of successful, right? But people sign up to the forum and they don't send me an email, and then I won't unlock them, because I don't know if it's a spam or not. Yeah, there is a question, why do you want to join the forum and so on, but these days even with AI sometimes even that can be answered by AI. Okay. It's not directly comparable with a microscope with a light from below and another one from above. That's correct. There is of course also a huge price difference. With a pen you should seat the pen all the way back in a receptacle. That's what I tried, but then nothing came out. Then set it to 0, load it and try it. If it doesn't pierce, turn it to 1 and try again until it works. Oh, okay. So you have to, let me try that because I'll be probably using this anyway or more often. So this means you have to put it in all the way. All the way. Okay. But then nothing comes out, I thought. I don't know. Or maybe. And then set it to 0 or to the lowest one. Okay. Maybe then you have to pull it back maybe. And then you press. Okay, there's nothing there. Okay, so then maybe you have to basically adjust it in such a way until it starts to appear, I guess. But still nothing comes out. I don't know. Maybe the length is not the same. No? Yeah. Huh. I don't know. I'll try to get this figured out. Yeah. But having this in any case makes it much easier, of course, to observe blood under the microscope. Yeah. So yeah. Next comments down here, if I can only find them. Is 10% hydrogen peroxide strong enough for this? I can't buy strong here in Norway. I think it is. You just have to wait longer. And what's really important is that if it starts foaming, then it's a good sign. And now it's really foaming. And I don't know if you're able to see it. Yeah. And you should heat it up over a water bath. Right, and you basically what you do is if it's used up, then you just pour it off and you add some fresh hydrogen peroxide. Yeah? So it's more a question of timing then. Yeah. Okay. It won't register me. Can you do the following? Can you just can you just send me an email? Then I can search for your username. Okay. Yeah. So I collected a sample of fresh snow. After 3 weeks, I came back to it and found something growing in it, a clump of whitish strings. Is this bacteria and was it in the fallen snow? What I probably assume is the following. If you see string-like structures, of course it could be bacteria, but what I assume is that it could also be some kind of a fungus. Yeah? Snow is not purely clean. Yeah, there could be some organic material, maybe if a small insect or whatever also fell in there, then this is enough organic material for it to become moldy, and then you have got this so-called the hyphae, these are the cells of the fungus which are growing. Yeah. So, have you added glacial acetic acid to the 35%? No, I have not. What I usually do is the following. After the whole thing has been digested with hydrogen peroxide, I remove the hydrogen peroxide and add some acid. For example, acetic acid, because the acid will dissolve any calcium carbonate which is in there. So anything which is a carbonate and which will be converted to carbon dioxide gas, and then you have ideally you have the pure just this pure silica shells left over. Yeah. So this is it would be then the second step, but I found that simply doing some hydrogen peroxide digestion alone also gets you very far. Yeah. So let me move on. Yeah. Can you, okay, I guess it's also for me a salt crystals video. Sure. Tears. Okay, fine. I'll do that. Yeah. Again. And packaging. I'm reading. The blue plastic holding the pin should be seated all the way back as far as it will go. Then you start with 0. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, okay. And do we leave the cap on after putting in the hydrogen peroxide? I would do that. I mean, there is, of course, gas forming, oxygen gas, so every now and then I open it up, yeah, to let if the pressure is there. But, yeah, I leave it on, especially if you put in a water bath, you want to prevent evaporation. Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to call it a day for today. I know that this live stream was a little bit more, how do you say, compact. Yeah, if you want to hear it in the comments if you prefer this or not. And I'm going to say all the best. I'm going to please check the channel. I'll be uploading, of course, videos. Again, maybe a slightly more than before. I keep this live stream short and maybe do a little bit more videos. We're going to see how this works out. In any case, I want to thank you again that you've joined me. I'm also very grateful for comments and for any suggestions to put under the microscope. I wish you all the best. Happy microbe hunting as always, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye. All the best.